Hi, welcome to my pretend cooking show. My name is Dina Mitchell, and this is my kitchen. Prego, Zucchine Ripiene, stuffed zucchini boats. And not only is this an easy recipe, healthy, but it's kid-friendly too. I'm gonna show you 3 different versions: meat, tuna and caper, and a keto version, which is a caprese with pesto. Let's get started. You're gonna need 3 regular sized zucchini. I have a small one, so let's say there's 6. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're going to cut off the ends. You wanna make sure this is really fresh and firm, because if it's squishy at all, it'll be too watery. So I now am going to slice it lengthwise, and I'm gonna scoop out the middle. You know, they call this zucchini boats, but this is really kind of like a zucchini canoe. I'm just scoring the inside so it'll make it a lot easier for me to scoop out. And I have tried a melon baller. It just doesn't work for me. Easiest is like the small spoon. And you want to scoop out the middle, reserving it because we're gonna stuff it back inside, leaving about 1/4 of an inch around the canoe, or the boat, I guess it sounds a lot better, to stuff it with. And I'm gonna do that with the second one here. You can double this recipe. You can half it. These make great little appetizers, a great lunch, a great snack. It's healthy. This is so good. I can't wait to show you all 3. Okay, so I have scooped out the center, like so. And I'm gonna put this aside just for a second, because what we want to do is we now need to salt and pepper. So the salt and the pepper, not only are we seasoning this, but we're also trying to drain out some of the water so it's crispier. I've got my oven behind me preheated to 350 degrees. That's 180 degrees Celsius, by the way. And a little bit of pepper. Okay, let me get my towel. And what you want to do is you actually need to turn these upside down. Sometimes I'll just put a towel, because this will, after about 10-15 minutes, actually be really wet because all the water is going to soak out. Now with the zucchini pulp, go ahead and chop that up finely, because we're going to restuff that inside. And I'm going to put that right here, and we're going to come back to that in a second. So the first time I learned this recipe, I said, I can make that. It's super easy, and it kind of looks good. And I was right. It looks really good. I learned the beef version, or the meat version first. So let me set this aside. We're not going to need it anymore right now. And let's get started on stuffing number 1. I have 200 grams, or I think it is, oh, I can tell you right now, 7 ounces. Yeah, 7 ounces of ground meat. Now you have your choice of pork, chicken, beef. I have here pork. And I am mixing it, now in total it's 400 grams, but I'm mixing it up because I really like the different flavors. I also have 50 grams of King of Salami mortadella, and I have chopped that up finely. I want to eat that right now. And I have 1 Italian sausage, and I actually got the chicken sausage, so therefore I can really kind of mix this up, because I like the combination of chicken and pork, or yeah, I really like that. I usually don't use too much beef. And we're gonna do, oh, let me put in the Parmesan first. So we're gonna do 50 grams, or about a third of a cup of Parmesan, and I'm gonna reserve a little bit to top it with, and I'll show you what I mean in a second. There we go. Reserving probably like 8 grams or so. And I'm using gluten-free breadcrumbs. And I'm gonna show you what these are actually. I got these at Whole Foods, but I found them at Albertsons, I found them at Sprouts. You're not gonna notice the difference at all, so you might as well go gluten-free. They work perfectly. I've never had anyone miss gluten in this. So I've got 50 grams of gluten-free breadcrumbs, and I'm doing 20 grams, or about a 1/4 cup of chopped parsley, and 2 eggs. and I think I've told you before, but just in case it's your first time, if you crack these on the counter instead of the bowl, it works a lot better because we're just looking for that little dent. And salt and pepper. And I do about 2 teaspoons of pepper and about 1 teaspoon of salt. Now, I found the best way to mix this all up is with your hands. It makes it a lot easier. I'm not gonna do this right now. I actually did it before, which is all ready. Oh, and I've mixed it up with the chopped zucchini. And that's what we have here. So I've got the stuffing for the meat. I'm gonna set this aside for a second. Let's do stuffing number 2. I love this one, tuna and capers. I may be introducing you to something new, and that is this tuna that comes in a jar. It's so, so good. And here's a different version. You can get it at Whole Foods. I've actually even seen it at Sprouts. And I can't wait to show you. Let's see. We're gonna drain this actually. So it says 170 grams, but it's actually about, I think, 85 grams once we drain out the oil. So you want tuna in oil. And these little fillets are so good. You can get yellowfin, there's some different flavors, but this by far will make your best tuna fish sandwich. And it is a little pricey, but once I show you these fillets, I think you might understand why. Let me see if I can get one out. Get my little guy here. We're actually gonna put him in the food processor. Look at this. It's like a whole piece of tuna. It's so good. And I'm not a big fan of tuna, but this, I'm a fan of this. Let's see, we're going to put in, now we're gonna put, in all of these recipes, you're using 3 regular size zucchini, or if you have little ones like me, I'm using 6. So I'm actually using the pulp. I don't have to chop it up finely. I'm just scoop it out because it's gonna chop up in here. And where is it? I have a half a white onion chopped, and I sweated it with a little bit of olive oil for a couple minutes. I don't want it to get brown at all. I just did it over medium-low heat until it's nice and sweet as white onions get. I am doing 8 grams or a tablespoon of capers that I've rinsed off to get some of the salt off. I think you have an idea how great this is gonna taste. I have 20 grams of pine nuts, or 2 tablespoons. I have 50 grams or a 1/3 cup of parmesan, and I might add this in after because I'm running out of room right now. So where is my top? You know what, I'm gonna add the salt and pepper now. Let's add this. So I don't need as much salt because I do have the capers and I've got the tuna, but I'm still gonna add some. I'm definitely gonna add more pepper, and you can season this as you wish. There's all kinds of different versions for this. And I just want this to be smooth. It'd help if I actually put the eggs in, right? Let's do that now. Might be easier to blend. All right. If I put them on the bottom, it would have blended easier. Let's see what happens. Good, I'm gonna add the cheese in now. And I'm reserving some for the top. And same, and that was 1/3. And then the same with the breadcrumbs. And we've got 64 grams, or I think it's 6 tablespoons. Something like that. No, a half a cup. Yeah, half a cup of gluten-free breadcrumbs. But I'm reserving some from the top. I can mix the rest in by hand. So let's pulse this up. So good. gotta work. Put that aside, put that here. And you scoop this out. You can also use an immersion blender, or you can just blend this by hand, but you see, I'm gonna show you in a second, it's really, really smooth, and that's really kind of what we're looking for in a perfect world. But you're not going for a Michelin star in your kitchen. I think I am. So the point is, do whatever works for you. I'm gonna add a little bit more of these breadcrumbs. There is filling number 2, tuna with capers. This is so good. Okay, filling number 3 might be my new favorite. Let me move some of this stuff. All right, we are gonna do, remember that zucchini pulp? So I'm gonna make a smaller version. So this is just really one zucchini, one small one. And where did, I've got some fresh ricotta here. I really like this brand, Bellwether. I've only been able to find it at one place here in town, but you're basically looking for a fresh ricotta. And I am gonna put about 2 tablespoons in there per zucchini. Actually, let me go ahead and do this. There we go. Now I can do a full recipe for you. All right. So, I think we have, I think about 200 grams of fresh ricotta, or about a cup. Maybe a little bit more here. And I've got some fresh pesto, and I'm gonna link the all 3 recipes along with my recipe for my 3-minute pesto, which is perfect. So I'm now gonna add about 100 grams, I believe, and I make it, if I get this wrong, just check below. If you're on YouTube, check below. If you're on IGTV, right here, click that little button, drop down, has the entire recipe on there. All right, let's see what we got. So zucchini, ricotta, fresh pesto. I am going to add additionally a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt, let's fill the boats. So these have been sitting for a while and definitely have the water inside. I have a prepared pan that I've put just a little bit of olive oil in the bottom, not too much because I don't want this to get soggy. So I am going to fill the little boat with the pesto, ricotta, yum, and the caprese part. I've got some little cherry tomatoes and some mozzarella, and I think you have about 8 cherry tomatoes cut into quarters. I'm gonna put that on here. And then I have a little mozzarella, and I kind of split these in half, and you, whatever kind of mozzarella you want to use, you can, I've cut it up before, or I've used these little, what do they call it, Cellini balls? Something like that. What do they call them? I don't know. Little balls of cheese. So there is my caprese. Here is the meat version, which is kind of just like a meatball. And the tuna version, the tuna and capers. I'm gonna fill that up. Now these aren't finished yet. We're gonna do one more thing before we throw them in the oven. And of course this is optional, you don't have to do it, but I like it. Is we're gonna add a little bit of crunch to this by putting some, first, Parmesan cheese on top. And I'm doing that to all 3. And for the meatball version and the tuna version, I'm adding a little bit of breadcrumbs because I want that to be really crispy on top. And to all three of these, I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil because this is going to help give these a little bit of a tan. I'm going to throw them in the oven. A regular size zucchini is going to be about 30 minutes, 30 to 40, depending on how you like it, but I don't want mine soggy. I want it to be a little bit crispy. So these I'd actually probably put in about 20 minutes. And this is my favorite part because this is the part where I get to try it. Now I have on this caprese with the pesto, I've actually put a reduction of balsamic vinegar on top. I'm gonna pretend like I didn't and just put some more. So good. And which one should I dig into first? I think I'm going for the tuna first. It's probably easier if I just eat it. Here is the tuna and capers. Guys, thank you for watching my pretend cooking show. My name is Dina Mitchell. Please like and subscribe. Bite for you, bite for me. The tuna is so good. Okay, but I have to try the caprese now. I think I'm actually just trying some mozzarella. See that? All right, guys. Hope you're having a great day. See you soon. Ciao.